Yeah, what's good, cryptocurrency fans out there? Welcome back to the Everything Altcoin channel. Today, we're going to be talking about one of the biggest bottlenecks robotics as a narrative is facing as of right now. Now, I did get a comment on one of my videos asking, everyone's talking about robotics being a narrative, but why hasn't these robotic altcoins actually pumped yet? Well, there's a simple answer to that. We actually haven't seen them physically in the space for people to actually start to fathom the fact that we're actually starting to see physical AI. Remember, at the start of AI as a narrative, before that we had some AI projects, right? They really wasn't doing too well. But once ChatGPT got released, that became the biggest catalyst for AI as a whole, right? If you was here during that earlier days in crypto, this was during the bear market too, right? You started to see some of the early AI plays pump, like Viot. I think you got later on after ChatGPT came out, you had ChainGPT, right? So some of these early AI plays piggybacked off of the off-chain catalyst being ChatGPT. Now we haven't had a off-chain catalyst to the narrative of robotics because I believe of this one bottleneck. Now that bottleneck is data, training data for robotics, because as you can actually see, Peak put out this tweet here. Robots are only as good as the data they are trained on. Most real world robot training data is unverified. Solution loading, right? So there's going to be a solution that they're going to have. We're going to talk about that potential solution. Then before we go to a post below the Peak, that was a reply to Peak, you can see here World Lab CEO Dr. Fay, I want to say that right, who is the co-founder of this project here, this company, on the data bottleneck in robotics and how world models help. The lack of data in training, the lack of data in evaluation. This is very different from language models, which is your LLMs. This is your ChatGPT. This is your Anthropic. This is your Grok. All of these, they were able to train on the entire internet, while robotics needs specific training data, right? This is where data is abundant on the internet, right? That's for your large language models. And we know that in order for robotics to work, we have to somehow unlock the power of scaling law. But where does that come from? It's profound. It's a profound problem that everyone's battling within robotics. We see a lot of unlock in being able to do this whole process through the modeling of environments. We're going to get into all of this, right? Being able to create these digital worlds that is just going to unlock so much potential for being able to replace the costly and unsafe data in real environments. The data generated from the worlds of robots to be able to do scalable learning and evaluation. So what does this tell you in right now? There's two things that's going to tell you here. Training data is very important, but secondly, it's where they get this training data, right? Digital worlds is going to be important for this training data. So you can look at SimArena. You should know where SimArena is coming from, or just digital environments in general to help train these robotics. So let's get into this post here by Moose Khan here. All right. Everyone is looking for that ChatGPT moment for robotics, but unlike AI, robots can't learn from an internet full of text, right? Every grasp, every movement and trajectory has to come from somewhere. That's why some of the most interesting companies in robotics today aren't just building robots. They're building ways to create data. So this is the big thing for you guys right now. This right here, this little graph here lets you know where this data should be coming from. Teleoperation here. This is where a human directly controls the robot to collect high fidelity trajectories, right? So if you think about Neo robots that was supposed to ship this year here, they were supposed to ship as teleoperated robots. That means someone from across the world or whatever controlling these robots in your home. So that's a security risk there, but that was what was supposed to happen. Now, low cost glove capture. Humans perform tasks using devices like gloves, leader, arm, and or wearables. You got fleet deployment, you got simulations here. Simulations, I think, is going to be a key part here. This is going to be like the digital environments where people could just train these robots at low cost and just be able to do so many different things here, right? World model synthetic, egocentric video, and internet video. Egocentric video is like first person videos of people doing tasks. So that's you wearing, like, let's say you wearing the Oculus or something and you just doing your normal day-to-day task. They're using that as training video. And then you got internet videos. These are all public videos on the web of people just doing different things. That's going to help train the robots as well. Now, before we get into the rest of this video, where we get into the picks, into what Asai has to say about this, I would like to ask you guys to subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. We're on the road to 30K subscribers. If you guys would like to help out with that, hit that red subscribe button. Don't forget to like the video. Comment what you guys think down below and why you guys are down here. You guys can hit that Discord link to join the Discord to continue the crypto conversation we're having daily. And you guys can ask, how does that Patreon group works? As you guys know, we have been killing it in this market, from the Robinhood chain to the base chain. We just been doing stellar, honestly, building dry powder here and everything like that. It's an overall great community that you guys do not want to miss out on. But the thing is, you don't just get a great community with this Patreon here, you also get access to the best central intelligence platform in crypto right now with the Altcoin Chasers HQ. You guys can track smart money, track how the holder cost bases are on altcoins, unlocks. Everything you need to be successful in crypto will be in this Altcoin Chasers HQ. You guys can watch a video. I'll leave in the cards up top for you guys to get a better understanding, especially with all the upgrades I put out there. And you guys can use Asai 2026 to get 40% off your first month if you're joining via Patreon. Right now, for those that do not want to join via Patreon, you guys can go directly on the HQ and sign up there, and you'll get a 1-day free trial at no cost to test out the entire HQ, all the features, and I promise you, you will love it. Right, so links will be down in the description down below for you guys, and let's get right into the video some more. So we are in the terminal here. This is where we're going to have these conversations with Asai to help break down different theses, right? So I told Asai, what is your thoughts on training data being one of the biggest bottlenecks for robotics? So robotics sit at a unique inflection point that other AI verticals don't. The data flywheel hasn't started spinning yet. That's the key part right now. LLMs had the entire public internet to train on. That's why we're getting them so fast. And new models train newer models, help train the newer models that's going to come out, right? Image model had ImageNet, Leon, and billions of scraped photos. Robotics has ... almost nothing usable, right? A robot that vacuums a controlled lab does not work in your living room without cables, pets, and weird furniture layout. So when you guys got that, you know, your robo vacuum at the crib, right? That is essentially, it has a sensor in front of it. That sensor is also using it's actually, you know, training that robot or giving more data back to the central hub on the layout of your home, so that robot can actually maneuver in your home a lot better and knows the layout. That's basically another way of training data, right? Every major player, Tesla Optimus, Figure, Google DeepMind, Unitree, 1X is hitting the same walls. You need millions of hours of real-world deployment data to train foundation models that generalize. The data flywheel works like this: more robots deployed equals more real-world failure data. Better foundation models equals cheaper / more capable robots, which means more deployment. Whoever gets the flywheel spinning first wins the category. That's why Tesla is vertically integrating manufacturing. That is key. That is why Figure has raised $40 billion. That's why NVIDIA entire robotic stack group, Isaac, Jensen Thor exists. They're selling picks and shovels to everyone racing to spin that wheel. Now, getting to the decentralized bet on crypto. Why decentralized robotics is the crypto bet here, right? The centralized approach has a ceiling. One company's fleet one company's environment, one company's geographic distribution. A decentralized network of heterogeneous robots, warehouse, homes, farms, hospitals, all contributing. Anonymized training via verifiable compute could theoretically compress years of fleet deployment into months. That's a thesis behind projects like Fabric Protocol. Fabric specifically positioned as a verifiable computing and agent native infrastructure for general purpose robots, right? So it gave you a play already being robo in terms of that being a way to verify the data that is coming in, right? So now let's scroll down a little bit more, getting into a size full take on this. The training data bottleneck thesis is rock solid. It's the same structural argument that made Helium and HiveMapper real depend plays. The centralized physical infrastructure collecting data centralized players can't. Fabric Protocol is positioned in the right narrative slot for this thesis, so it's pretty bullish on Robo. But we already know Robo does have some big unlocks that is going to be coming out very soon, right? But we're going to look into all of that. Now we do see Robo here falling off pretty much a cliff right now. It's a bear market, and it is coming out during a bear market, and the unlocks really does not start for this one till, I think someone told me, like February, right? February of 2027. So around that time we might be already starting a bull market, but now during a bull market this will be fighting some inflation here. So this is going to be some context here just in case you guys are also looking into Fabric Protocol. Now the thing is, Fabric Protocol Robo itself has some decent partnerships. I do want to talk about a quick partnership because this altcoin isn't even out yet before we get into the other altcoins that's out. Now Fabric themselves have partnered with a project called PrismaX. Now you guys might have heard me talk about PrismaX as I talk about robotics. Now PrismaX is the robotics native service layer for physical AI. They set the standards for how robots, data, and human work into intelligent behavior. Real robots, real work, real proof of performance. This is all to help build out help build out the training data for robotics. Now we go onto their website here. You guys can go ahead and actually look into everything that they're doing. Robot data intelligence here. They're going to be collecting. You can see here we talked about the video data, right? That means like someone wearing, like, you know, Oculus or something, helping training the robots. You can see that here clearly, but that's the robot doing that. So we're getting a top-down view from it, right? All of this is going to be important to help build out robots, right? If they're going to be in the physical world with us, they need to be able to do the physical things that we are doing, and that is what PrismaX is going to be helping out with. And you can even see a digital environment here to help train the robot, right? So PrismaX will be coming out. I don't know exactly when. This will be something to look out for as they come out. They're also backed by A16Z, so this is one to keep on your radar. Now let's get into the altcoins. First we got Alki. Now we have talked about Alki plenty of times. You guys should already know about spatial computing. That is pretty much training data for the robotics here, understanding the entire space, spatial intelligence. The only thing that a lot of people did mention, and I have mentioned, was the volume on it being very low. But if you're looking at market cap to FDV, this is close to good, man. This is damn near close to 50%, right? Not too much overhang still, right? But the thing is, one key thing that they're doing here, you guys are looking at it right now. This is a post that they made a few days ago, performance testing Cactus, right? Getting it ready for the world's biggest stores. This is 120K unique products on 8,000 fixtures. LOD rendering, more detailed when zoomed in. The spatial index that fetches data you're looking into, right? Interactive mini map. So essentially they're using this as like a store. So if you're gonna have like a robot moving around in a store, and you know, it should know what's around it, it should know the fixtures and things like that. This is what Alki is helping build out before they even ship it to more stores. Now they're already in some big stores already, right? So this is pretty big here. Now this also leads to exactly this post here, right? Crypto Insider put out this post. Why would retailers ever share a map of their store with Google? This is where aside pretty much broke down decentralized, why this should be decentralized. It works better as decentralized robotics is the crypto bet. So decentralized spatial intelligence is the crypto bet for spatial intelligence. Because of this here, retailers guard their store layouts like trade secrets, product placements drive revenue, and nobody is handing that to a centralized provider. They don't want to give you guys their trade secrets. That's why you need decentralized spatial intelligence, right? So essentially the store will own its own spatial data. The robots connect and get exactly what they need, and nobody else will be in the middle to, you know, to make the whole thing centralized and just steal data, whatever it may be, right? So that is why I believe Aki is going to be needed in robotic. Next we got Codex Flow. Now Codex Flow, again, it's on Solana. You guys know I don't talk too much about the Solana things, but I do like what Codex is building. They should get their own contract. Don't have the pump contract. It's just, I'm just nitpicky like that. But at a $2.5 million market cap, a lot of these robotic altcoins are fairly cheap outside of like GeoNet. GeoNet has pumped crazily, right? Has pumped crazy. But outside of that, a lot of these are fairly cheap as of right now. All-time high for this was 11 months ago, so it is down 95%. Now, of course, they are working closely with Pump Fund, so I'm not going to get too mad about it. I'm not going to be too nitpicky because it seems like Pump Fund may have a lot to do with what they're going to have going on. We're going to show you that in just a second here. But Codex Flow is an open source platform building robots and autonomous operators. It's bringing simulation, once again, that digital world, right? Compute and deployment together so teams can build, train, and ship robots from one place instead of stitching together a different tool at every step. It's browser-based simulator. SimArena, which I mentioned earlier, lets anyone build and test robot with no hardware setup. And this is basically something you could do in a SimArena here. Show a robot a task and it'll copy you move for move. One thing and copy falls apart. That's the behavior cloning, and it's why simulation matters. It lets you see the task 1,000 different ways before the real world rearranges it, right? So robots need to see a task 1,000 times, different ways I should say, on how to complete that task, and that will help it more maneuver in the real world. Now, something interesting is coming from Codex as they have partnered with Peak, right? This is called Machine.Fun. Build the prototype and we'll help you ship it, right? So I'm pretty sure if a dev is building something in robotics, they'll have all the tools that they'll need from like a digital arena, data, compute, all of that to help build out that product, right? You can see it here. You guys can actually get a little understanding a little bit more here, right? And you can see on the like fifth post here. Oh, and there's one more thing happening with Pump Fund. So they may have like a hackathon with Pump Fund or whatever it may be. Who knows? But it seems like Pump Fund is included with what Codex and Peak is building. So this is going to be coming here very soon here. I'm pretty interested. You guys should be too. You guys should go ahead and follow this page here, Machine.Fun. I was one of the earlier followers. As soon as they posted, I followed them. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie to you. Next, we got Roba here. Now, Roba is building out compute. They're doing a lot of things for robotics as well. It is sitting here below $1 million market cap, which is fairly cheap. As I told you, a lot of these robotic plays are pretty cheap here. This is down 91% from its all-time high. Now, I do like the fact that they have partnered with Repo to help build out the first physical AI data net, right? So what is going to be coming from this right now? Most robotic data today gets absorbed into models that give nothing back to the people who built it, right? So for the robot creators here, a new way to earn. Robotic asset builds in our platform can get validated by people with real capital on the line, and the strongest work rises to the top of Robo reputation leaderboard, right? That's it. Obviously, if you are helping validate some things here, you will find another way to earn some passive income, or not passive income, some income, right? Now for Repo itself, a live physical AI vertical from day one, seeded with real robotics data and active publishers from the platform, already built on a standardized asset, benchmark challenges and reproducible evaluations, right? So they're looking to tackle some different bottlenecks and actually partner with Repo to help get verified information pretty much for robotics here. So this is going to be interesting to see how this one is going to play out. I think this was posted like last month here. So as things continue to build out, I keep an eye on Robo as well. And lastly, we do have Strike Robot. Now, I have not talked about Strike Robot in quite some time here. They had pumped to like 5 million because they had introduced a partnership with Venice, right? But since then, people really have stopped talking about them. They're pretty cheap as of right now with a very good partnership in Venice. So it is down 84% from its all-time highs. But you guys can see here, creating a simulated world for robots has never been more easier than now. They are creating their SR platform. The SR platform provides a seamless generation pipeline, asset creation, spatial layout generation, real-time editing, simulation, and rollout using every model, and your data stays yours. And guess what? It is all powered by Venice. So I am very bullish on Strike Robot as a micro cap altcoin for robotics here. So this is one of the biggest bottlenecks for robotics as of right now, being training data. And these are the altcoins so far in the market I think is pretty good that is actually targeting on how to train robotics here. Obviously there could be some new ones that is going to be coming out later on, and some different partnerships and things like that, but the list could change later on. But for right now, this is what I like. You guys let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and if you guys haven't subscribed already yet, please do so. We're on that road to 30k subscribers, and I'll check you guys later. Peace.